One of these men is a highly respected New York attorney, Lucas A. Ferrara. The other is a self-proclaimed man of the people, known as Mert Roberts. Their aim is to discuss the hottest issues impacting our city, state, and nation. Fasten your seatbelts. Shake It Off with Mert and Lucas, live, starts now on AM 970. The Answer.
Hey, Mert, did you hear that President Trump wants to give the Presidential Medal of Freedom to Rudy Giuliani?
Yes, I heard that.
Did you have any thoughts on that?
Well, I think with these awards, it's usually, and this isn't a bad thing or a good thing, so let me just clear this up. With these awards, I always think it's a, hey, you're my friend, I'm going to give you an award to show that I really like you. You don't really give this stuff to people who you don't agree with, but you realize they got something great. You usually give this stuff to people, hey, that's my good friend, I'm going to give them an award. You know, they can go out there and charge a little bit more when they give these speeches because they'll have that on their resume, so it benefits everybody. So I don't really have a problem with it because who else would you be giving this award to? It's not like it's a long list.
With all due respect, I think someone more deserving. Look, the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
You can't say that. That's the president saying he deserves it. That's the president. That's the president saying it. You can't say that. It's not your award to give.
Well, that's true, but the Presidential Medal of Freedom, Bert, is the highest civilian honor in the country. It's a symbol of national gratitude, which is given to individuals who've made exceptional contributions to the country's security.
Well, hold on before you go further, because I'm not going to let you go further without. Hold up. That's Giuliani though, because during 9/11 he was there, the leader. So if he ain't got it already. If he ain't got it already, he should have it, based on that. Now, he might have had some missteps.
A lot of time.
He's had some missteps. He had some missteps because he was but
yes, many missteps,
he deserves it. He's very qualified. He deserves it. I'm not going to do that to him. He deserves it. So you could go ahead now and give. I just had to get that out because you was going to go on your.
So you think he
give me the definition
for something that happened over 20-something years ago, to 2000 whatever? Come on.
It's a legacy thing.
September 11th.
It's a legacy thing. It's not about what you did yesterday. It's a legacy thing. It's like when they give it to Muhammad Ali for the stuff he did in the 70s. They didn't give it to him for the stuff he did in the 90s or the 2000s whenever he got the medal. They gave it to him for his legacy. Same thing with Kareem. Same thing with every other person.
My friend, all the people that you've identified weren't mired in scandal thereafter. And Giuliani has had a free fall since 9/11, 2001. Yes, many thought he was courageous. He was a great leader. When the towers fell, it was a horrific time in New York City history. My office, 9/11, 2001, Mert, was a block away. Okay, when the World Trade Towers fell, this throat that you hear, this voice, the doctors are telling me that this had something to do with the air quality of downtown Manhattan. That's why I have this horrific voice. It's thanks to the towers and the terrorists knocking down the towers, and not that I want to make a big deal about it, but because of the health issues that have been associated with being exposed, I'm considered.
Now think about what you just said there. You still have things that are affecting you to this day.
That's
the same
correct.
Thing could be said. The same thing could be said for Giuliani. You don't know what could have happened in his mind, what he could have seen.
He's been sued for hundreds of millions of dollars. Because he was making all this election fraud stuff. He lost his licenses. He was disbarred. He lost his law license.
Think about who he was doing that for. Think about who he was doing that for. You might say he's mired in scandal, but he was in scandal because he was trying to support who? The guy who's giving him the Presidential Medal of Freedom. The President, Donald Trump. He was supporting him, and he was saying the election was stolen for Donald Trump, or stolen away from
But
Donald
that's
Trump.
not been proven to be true. That's the problem.
If somebody is willing to fight for you, are you going to say they're a bad person? No, you're going to look at that person like, man, this person gave up their reputation in order for me. So,
well, I think he must be a little crazy. He must be a little crazy to have gone down the toilet for Donald Trump. Okay, that he lost his law license. I think in D.C. they took it from him. I mean, his livelihood. I think he had to file bankruptcy. I think that was ended up getting dismissed. He had to file bankruptcy, Mert. There were news stories about he had no cash or he was hiding stuff. I don't know. Those were just allegations. But it was a downfall, and it was a major downfall. Yes, was he a hero? 2001. Many people thought he was a great leader in the midst of crisis. But since then, shameful. Alex, any thought on this whole medal issue and whether Giuliani is the appropriate recipient for something he did 24 years ago but's been mired in scandal ever since?
All right, I don't know if I could speak because I have many pictures with him and I've known him for a long time, so I don't know, but I would say...
So now you're biased. So with that bias duly noted, answer my question.
Yes, he deserves the Medal of Freedom for what he did 24 years ago, and even before that, cleaning up Times Square and all that. He took on a lot of the violence here. And
you forget about all that. They got documentaries made about this man for introducing Comstat and all that stuff and cleaning up the streets of New York City from what it used to be, where you could get all kind of nefarious activities on Times Square. He came and cleaned all that up, made this city safer. And you're trying to talk about because it was 30 and 24 years ago that it's no big deal. Well, I'm going to disagree, and I'm not a Republican and I'm not a supporter of Giuliani at all.
Well,
but I can't admit,
like you are. You certainly sound like you're one of these Republicans. You certainly are not as progressive as you claim to be. No, I'm just doing the same thing you say to me whenever you disagree with me. Look, I'm just borrowing your tactic. Look, I know 24 years ago, I just said he was truly courageous and he brought the city together. I know that he cleaned up the city. I lived in the city. I saw what he did. Certainly cleaned it up. In fact, he was even, did you know, Time magazine named him Person of the Year, and he was even knighted. Did you know that, Alex? Your friend was knighted by Queen Elizabeth II.
I kind of remember that, actually.
Because he's not a British citizen, he can't use the title Sir, but he was knighted. Okay, so I get it. He was a hero 24 years ago, but it's been disgraceful ever since. Okay.
Well, not to Trump, and that's the only person who matters. Not to Trump, because when you defend Trump, whatever they do to you was the system, the swamp that he was supposed to be draining. That was the swamp that threw mud on Giuliani's name, and that's how he's looking at it. I don't get how you don't see that. You're talking like he was going against Trump, and Trump is giving him the medal. Excuse me.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
What happened?
I'm not saying. What I'm saying is that Giuliani's not a deserving recipient. That's the argument that I'm posing.
Well, you lost that argument. You just disproved your own argument. You lost your own. It wasn't me. You said it yourself. You said he's a knight. You said he cleaned up the city. You said he was there for 9/11.
That was 24 years ago.
I don't care if it was 100 years ago.
Since
he deserved that medal.
Alex,
he should have got the medal then. He should have got the medal then,
and he didn't.
He has seemingly lost a lot of credibility.
Yes,
and unfortunately his mind. I don't know where it went wrong, but all of that to say, I still think he deserves the medal because of the career. And yeah, it is what he's done for Trump, but also what he's done for the city. I think we have to look at that as well.
Look.
No, that was my point. That was my point. He did a lot for this city, and he deserves the medal. He should get a New York Medal of Freedom
years ago, and there's been scandal ever since. My friends, look, he was disbarred in New York and Washington, D.C., as I said, for spreading false claims about the 2020 election. He was ordered to pay $148 million in damages to Georgia election workers for defamation. He faced... Thank you. The judges say he faced 13 felony counts in Georgia and was indicted in Arizona for alleged efforts to overturn election results. Additional lawsuits, including defamation claims from Dominion and Smartmatic, a $10 million sexual assault suit, and a digital tampering case brought by Hunter Biden. Look, that's bad. Okay, we're talking a guy mired in dirt. But despite all of that, Trump says in September that Giuliani should receive the Medal of Freedom, the country's highest honor, because he's a great American patriot. That's a great American patriot. The list that I just read is an example of a great American patriot.
All that stuff is tied to MAGA. So all these scandals you're talking about, it didn't happen until he started supporting Donald Trump. And who's the president is Donald Trump. So everything you're saying is invalidated. You're not invalidated, so I don't want you to feel like I'm saying you're invalidated.
Invalidated me.
But everything you just said invalidates your argument, because it's all attached. All these scandals are attached to MAGA, because I don't believe there would have been a sexual assault case if he wasn't supporting Trump. I think all that stuff came about, and you look at it with a lot of people on that side where they got cases thrown at them.
I'll add to that,
when
Mark.
he became prime. Go ahead.
The judges. How about, this $148 million case, it felt like the judges were just going after him more so than looking at the facts. Now, what he did was terrible, but I think there's some judicial bias here that went on as well against him.
Well, Trump suffered from the same thing, right? Like that $500 million judgment that the appellate court recently wiped out. Did I think that the judge went a bit overboard on that? Yes, of course. And look, Letitia James, she's suffering the consequences. She was being vindictive. Well, she's finding out what the cost of vindictiveness is. But that's not who we're talking about right now. We're talking about Giuliani. And look, the criteria are expansive, but the honor has always carried an implicit expectation of integrity. Okay? And that's where I'm having a problem. I read you a list, Mert, a disbarred lawyer, hundreds of millions of dollars of judgment, sexual assault, all this stuff. That isn't integrity.
The one thing you left out, though, the one thing you left out is an older man who might be over the hill, his mind no longer where it used to be back in the day when he was fighting the mob, when he was fighting the crime in New York City.
He was doing great.
And doing his best.
He was doing
and putting
great.
the city on his back and being a hero for the city. You're not thinking about all that. You're thinking about an older man who is he's probably hopped up on caffeine and all kind of amphetamines to just have the energy to keep moving throughout the day.
Alleged. We don't know for a fact if he's on anything, but I get your point. Yes,
he's an older gentleman who is still trying to stay in the fight. And when an older fighter gets in the ring, you can see the rust, you can see the decay, you can see the slowness. And I think that's what he experienced. He probably doesn't even realize all the things that he's been through, because his mind isn't all the way there. So Trump has given him a medal to honor his legacy, and we're going to just forget about all these little dominions and all that stuff. We're going to forget about all that. Let's forget about that stuff and just focus on 9/11 and Compstadt and New York City being cleaned up. Let's focus on that.
He was also a very shrewd prosecutor back in the day, too.
Okay, but that was 24 years ago. Look, critics see the award as a politicized gesture that undermines the honor's credibility. They argue that Giuliani's role in promoting falsehoods about the election and his legal disbarment are incompatible with the values of the medal, and I sort of tend to agree with that.
Who was going to him to say fight a case? Him being disbarred is like saying, "Hey, you can't go to the store anymore," or whatever. It's like nobody was going to him to fight a case anyway? Where was he practicing law?
Well,
he
but
wasn't
you know
practicing
what?
anymore.
My Mert, it's not that simple. That he may not have been practicing. I don't know for a fact whether he was practicing or not. But you can be associated with a law firm, and Giuliani, because of his name, may have attracted clients, and then because of that, he may have shared in some of the monies.
So because other people can't profit off him, he's supposed to care about that. He doesn't care about that.
No,
He's
I'm
like,
not
well,
saying
y'all
that,
should have made
but
y'all money
the
already.
loss of his law license would probably have significant financial impact. And when you lose a license, that can impact other licensing. Like you couldn't be a real estate broker if you have a felony, or it's not, or disbarred. This is bad.
Look,
this is just bad.
He's in the coffee business now. He's in the coffee business now.
Really?
Go get his coffee. Yeah, he's got some coffee or something like that. Go get that. So he's out of the law business. He's
I
in
like
the coffee
Dunkin'.
business.
I
now.
like Dunkin' Donuts. Gabby, what do you think? So does Giuliani? We need a woman's perspective here. Sorry to be sexist, but does he deserve a medal, the highest medal honor that our country can afford a civilian?
My opinion will probably not be appreciated much, but I don't believe he does. There's a time and a place, and back then, 24 years ago, sure, but now I don't believe so. And I have personal ties to 9/11, as I'm sure many do, and I'm saying that. So that's just personal opinion, though.
How could you?
Look, Gabby, I love you, and there's a reason I love you, because I agree with you 110%.
Well, I'm not afraid to necessarily speak on the unpopular opinion, quote unquote.
Nothing's unpopular. Why? Because Mert says it makes us unpopular. I think a lot of people
he lives
agree
in the
with us.
50s.
Don't fall for that nonsense. Don't believe Mert's garbage. In fact, look, giving the medal to Giuliani sends a dangerous message, in my view, that political loyalty and partisan service can outweigh the truth, accountability, and the rule of law. Thank you, judges. It sends the wrong message. It's raised eyebrows. His selection was announced shortly after he was injured in a car crash, and he sustained some serious injuries. I understand that. I wish him well. I understand he's been discharged from the hospital, and he's recovering. But he doesn't deserve the medal.
Listen, everybody has a mistake every once in a while. He's no different. He's not a perfect man. He lived a perfect life up until that point. And because he makes one little mistake, you want to jump all over his back and take away a presidential freedom medal.
No.
Let the man have his medal. He made one little mistake, and now everybody wants to take away medals and stuff like this. I'm not going to support that. The guy is a hero to New York City, and I'm not from New York, and even I know this. I've did the research. I've learned about this man. Let the man have his medal. He made one little mistake, and now everybody wants to take away his accolades, take away his legacy, turn him into something that he's not. He's not a monster. He's just older, and he lost his mind, and I believe that played a big part in why he made certain decisions. He was being taken advantage of by people around him. So that's what happened. I'm not going to look at him and say he was in his right mind and doing all this stuff, because I believe he wasn't. I don't have any facts, but I believe that to be the case.
Well, for some, awarding Giuliani the Medal of Freedom will be a moment of celebration. I get that. For others, it'll be a reminder how far the medal has strayed from its original purpose, and I agree with Gabby. In either case, the controversy will likely shape future perception of the medal for years to come. And the debate, Bert, over Giuliani's medal is not just about one man. It's about the meaning of honor in a polarized age. It's about the standards we set for public service, the values we choose to celebrate, and the symbols we entrust with our national identity. Whether the medal remains a beacon of excellence or becomes a casualty of political warfare will depend how we respond, not just to this moment, but to the broader challenge of preserving integrity, Mert, integrity in public life. Can I hear an amen? Amen. This is Lucas Ferrara with me in the studio at AM 970, located in the heart of the financial district, not too far from the WTC site, is my co-host, the Mertinator, otherwise known as Mert Roberts. Working the board, the great Alex Garrett, who has a 5-star rated podcast, One Leg Up with Alex Garrett. How's it doing? Are you making millions of dollars?
Yeah, I'm making thousands of downloads. How about that? And that's thanks to you guys promoting it every week, so thank you for that.
And with him in the studio, show is none other than the amazing Gabby Pisani, his fiancée, who ensures that we all stay on our A game. And tonight, Gabby, you were amazing.
Thank you very much.
Look, a lot of people are responsible for making this show, but we don't have time to thank them all, but thank you. When we come back, we'll be joined by Robert Boris and Brad Wyman, who have breaking news about Bob's new book, Black Sun. Don't go away. Me, Mert, Alex, Gabby, Bob, Brad, all of us at AM 970 will return after these quick messages. Stick around. If you come back, we'll give you a medal, a parade, and maybe even a sandwich. Okay, maybe not the sandwich.
Over the last 30 years, Newman Ferrara, a New York City law firm, has evolved into a national practice focused on real estate, commercial, litigation, civil rights, class actions, and other complex litigation, representing many of the city's largest property owners, managing agents, and thousands of tenants. Newman Ferrara handles some of the nation's most significant class actions and civil rights matters. Newman Ferrara at 1250 Broadway in New York City. Go online to newmanferrara.com. That's newmanferrara.com. Listen to the firm's name partner, Lucas Ferrara, every Saturday at 10 a.m. on Dottie Herman's longest-running real estate radio program, Eye on Real Estate on AM 970. A real estate lawyer for 35 years, Lucas is a professor at New York Law School and is also a published author with books on real estate and New York's landlord-tenant law. Tune in Saturdays at 10 a.m. to hear Lucas's unique perspective and advice on Eye on Real Estate. You know, I love when we chat with Alex Kinsella from Route 22 Toyota, the general manager over there. Well, they tell us that they're offering some wicked good deals this Halloween season. He said they have a ton of new Toyota vehicles in stock and have sweet offerings on some of your favorite Toyota models, like the dynamic 2025 Toyota RAV4. Alex said the team over at Route 22 Toyota is making it easier than ever to treat yourself, as qualified buyers can drive home in a stylish RAV4 with available zero-down leases and low financing up to 60 months. If you're looking for a used car, Alex said there's no tricks and all treats over at Route 22 Toyota, as they got a huge selection of used vehicles, all makes and models starting at $11,000. But hurry, these wicked good deals disappear soon. So call 973-705-8905, 973-705-8905 to treat yourself to a new or used Toyota. Visit Route22Toyota.com for details. And remember to tell them Joe Piscopo sent me.
Is the conflict between Israel and the Palestinians the revival of an ancient conflict recorded in the Bible?
The nation of Israel is a resurrected nation. So what if there was going to be a resurrection of another people, an enemy people of Israel? The Bible speaks about this whole war as a dragon representing the enemy attacking a woman representing Israel.
Dinesh D'Souza's new film, The Dragon's Prophecy, offers new understanding of October 7th, Israel, radical Islam, anti-Semitism, and biblical prophecy. Could the fate of the world, of humanity itself, be tied to this place?
We came back to a land that was largely barren and empty, and we brought it back to life, and we're going to keep it.
The dragon will not prevail.
The Dragon's Prophecy, based on Jonathan Cahn's international bestseller. Watch it now or buy the DVD at salemnow.com. That's salemnow.com. Welcome back to Shake It Off with Mert and Lucas, live on AM 970, The Answer.
Ooh, what's the name of that song, Alex?
All right, I love this one. It is Hollywood Movie Trailer by Music Lab 2.
Oh, eerie and ominous. It sounds like Bob's book, Black Sun. Perfect choice, given that we're joined by two powerhouse figures from the world of film, each with a legacy that spans decades and genres. Robert Boris is an award-winning screenwriter and director whose credits include Electra Glide in Blue, Oxford Blues, and the Emmy-nominated miniseries Blood Feud, which dramatized the clash between Robert Kennedy and Jimmy Hoffa. Boris has worked with Hollywood icons, there are too many to name, like Dan Aykroyd and Richard Pryor, just to name two, and his scripts have tackled everything from political drama to action-packed thriller. Now he's turned his pen to fiction with the release of his book, Black Sun, Day of the Humanoid, a military sci-fi thriller about an AI-controlled warplane that challenges humanity's grip on power. It's a bold, high-stakes story, so it's no wonder that Brad Wyman wants to turn it into a feature film. Now, Brad is a prolific film producer, best known for Monster, the critically acclaimed biopic that earned Charlize Theron an Oscar. Wyman's career began with White of the Eye and evolved through cult favorites like Freeway, Trees Lounge, and The Dark Backward. He's also a pioneer in digital media, crowdfunding. He's led film initiatives at Indiegogo and Fund Anything, where he helped raise millions of dollars for indie projects. Together, Bob and Brad bring a wealth of experience, insight, and behind-the-scenes stories from the trenches of Hollywood. So buckle up. We're going to go deep into the art, the hustle, and the heart of filmmaking. Welcome to the program, guys.
It's great to be here. It's good to speak to you, Lucas.
That's my friend Bob. Brad, welcome to the program. It's an honor to have you.
My goodness. I want to bring you everywhere. That was the most masterful and elegant introduction I have ever heard.
Well, my friend, you deserve it. If anyone else, you certainly
Well, now you know why I love this producer.
Listen, Brad, Bob has been on the store. He's been on this show before, so I want to start with Brad. Brad, what drew you to Black Sun? And was it the concept, the character, or Bob's Boris sexiness? What was it? What was it?
Well, Bob's the master of the craft. I mean, you're talking about one of the greats. When it's all said and done, and you put William Goldman and Bob Boris and the great screenwriters, that are legends in Hollywood together, he'll be on the Mount Rushmore. So the moment he told me the one-liner of the story, I didn't even need any more. I was in, and I said, let's go make this. And that's pretty much how it all got going.
Well, it's great to have you both on. But Brad, let me ask you one more question before we bring in Bob. Now, you've championed unconventional stories throughout your career. How does Black Sun fit into that ethos?
It's funny too. You evolve as a filmmaker and as a producer, and you things that just interest you are the things you just kind of want to make. And I think, AI is a massive topic that everyone is trying to come to terms with. It's part of our lives, and we need to evolve with it. And I think Bob's story exposes all sides. It doesn't take a good or a bad point of view of it. It shows great things it can do and terrible things that it can do. And it's humanity's choice on how we evolve forward with that. And so you hope when you make movies like this, you're leaving a tiny footprint. You're entertaining people first and foremost, but ultimately you're also lifting the skirt on, kind of something that we're all coming to terms with, which is AI.
Yeah, and when left to its own devices, humanity usually makes the wrong choice. But I don't mean to put you on the spot, Brad, but do you have a vision for the film stylistically, tonally, or even in terms of casting, or is it still too soon? I just wanted to get
tell that high-paid giant writer of legend Boris to turn the pages over, and I could tell you. I'm whipping him. I've got him locked in a room, and the only way he can get his dinner is I'm going to slide pizza under the door to get the pages.
Well, that sounds like a prison. That sounds very kinky. That sounds very kinky, and it sounds like a prison.
Sorry, I know we're a PG show here. Excuse me, but it's 4 pages only. And look, this is going to be first and foremost an IMAX movie. This is going to play in the biggest theaters on the biggest screens, and it will be tantalizing. The way we show aircrafts. It's been done beautifully before, and Top Gun, and all these pictures. But we hope to hang. Be part of the same bolt of cloth of those kind of memorable pictures on an action and excitement venture, and at the same time, we hope we're going to leave you with a little bit of knowledge of what's humanity could happen on either side of the coin.
You think that you may think, Lucas, you may think that Brad is kidding, but it's true that he does have a door, and he slides the bottom of the door opens, and he slips the oatmeal underneath every once in a while.
If you need help, Robert, now is the time to ask for help. If you need help, now's the time. We can see.
The truth, Lucas, is that what Brad says to you is why I've loved him for 30 years and why I have such high regard and great respect for him. There was nobody like him, certainly not anymore. And I've known Brad for a very long time.
That's a good thing, Bob.
There are people that, Brad is a true filmmaker. When he talks to you about how he chose his stories, he was always, to him, the story was always the king. It's what it reaches him, what touches him, what motivates him. He wasn't about the deal like most people in this industry are.
Or the analytics now, Bob. The analytics, we don't go by analytics. We go by what makes us feel. And
guys, I've got a question.
Brad,
I've known him.
Brad, isn't that what's killing?
And so you're exactly right. So Brad is a great storyteller, and what I've done over the course of my career is I've gone from all different kinds of stories. I've gone from the seriousness of writing about Bobby Kennedy and his war on organized crime, which got me the Writers Guild Award for the best TV miniseries, and then go completely flip on the other side with writing a straight-out, upside-down comedy with Dan Aykroyd about Dr. Detroit. I like telling stories of all kinds, different kinds of nature. And Brad is that kind of producer. He's always made the stories that moved him, that affected him, that he had a vision for, that he cared about. The story was king, and the story came first. For me, and when we started talking, and when I started building this script and this book, to me it was like having a book that it exposes one of the great conspiracies in the country, which is to find out what really happened what would really happen when an most advanced AI unit ever created seizes control of the deadliest warplane ever built and then threatens the entire world. And I wanted to make sure that everyone was clear. Nothing much is at stake, just the future of artificial intelligence and the survival of mankind.
Yeah, nothing big there, Bob. Why don't you lower the stakes a little bit?
So that's what we started with, and that's the kind of story we're trying to build here, which is looking into this incredible world, which opens the door, and we have to wonder. We've created an incredible new system with super advanced artificial intelligence, and we have to wonder if we've actually started to create the Frankenstein monster of our own undoing.
Probably
have. It's fascinating. It's, if Michael Crichton was writing today, he would have written this book. I mean, it's the same tapestry of real fi, not even sci-fi, real sci. I mean, this is tomorrow, this is now, this is what we face, and we're going to peel the skin over it, but we're also going to do it again in classic, exciting clothes. I wish I had Burt Lancaster for the lead and Kirk Douglas for the sidekick.
Wow.
But we'll find ours and we'll make it special.
Now, gentlemen, we have to take a break for some commercial messages, but have no fear. When we return, Robert Boris and Brad Wyman will be back. In the interim, for more information about Bob and his book, Black Sun, check out his website, authorrobertboris.com. You'll also find his book on Amazon or wherever books are sold. And, of course, we'll have links on our website. Mert, Alex, Gabby, Bob, Brad, and I hope you'll come back after this. We've only scratched the surface with Bob Boris and Brad Wyman, two storytellers whose careers span Hollywood's golden grit and indie innovation. When we come back, we'll dive into their project and what's next in their world. Stay tuned.
For the last 30 years, Newman Ferrara, a New York City law firm, has evolved into a national practice focused on real estate, commercial, litigation, civil rights, class actions, and other complex litigation, representing many of the city's largest property owners, managing agents, and thousands of tenants. Newman Ferrara handles some of the nation's most significant class actions and civil rights matters. Newman Ferrara at 1250 Broadway in New York City. Go online to newmanferrara.com. That's newmanferrara.com. Listen to the firm's name partner, Lucas Ferrara, every Saturday at 10 a.m. on Dottie Herman's longest-running real estate radio program, Eye on Real Estate, on AM 970. A real estate lawyer for 35 years, Lucas is a professor at New York Law School and is also a published author with books on real estate and New York's landlord-tenant law. Tune in Saturdays at 10 a.m. to hear Lucas's unique perspective and advice on Eye on Real Estate.
Hi, Kevin McCullough. Wish there was an easier way to navigate the world of real estate. If only there was a way to learn from the best. Well, now there is. Saturdays at 10, our very own Dottie Herman, Vice Chair of Douglas Elliman, gives you the inside track to what is hot in real estate. Stay one step ahead in today's seller's market as Dottie gives her tips on how to make it through the tricky waters. Doesn't matter if you're new to the game or a seasoned vet. You need to listen to Eye on Real Estate. Dottie and her team of experts will guide you as sellers and buyers to make sure you're getting the best value for your property. Whether you want to become a real estate agent or work within the business, there is no better person to learn from than the great Dottie Herman. Why? Because she is the best. Period. So tune in, Eye on Real Estate, Saturdays at 10 on AM 970, The Answer. That's Eye on Real Estate, Saturday mornings at 10 o'clock on AM 970, The Answer.
War has played a key role in the history of the United States, from the nation's founding right down to the present. Wars made the United States independent, kept it together, increased its size, and established it as a global superpower. Hi, I'm James Early, host of the Key Battles of American History podcast. In each episode, I discuss American history through the lens of the most important battles of America's wars. To start listening now, go to ParthenonPodcast.com or search Key Battles of American History on your favorite podcasting platform.
We are moving now.
Electric bikes are everywhere. They are quiet and very fast. Teens ride them on the roads, in bike lanes, but also in places they should not be, like sidewalks and parks.
Look out!
When you ride, wear a helmet. Don't speed. Watch out for pedestrians and cars. New York State and your community have specific rules for electric bikes. Follow them. Go to trafficsafety.ny.gov for more info. A message brought to you by the Governor's Traffic Safety Committee.
Welcome back to Shake It Off with Mert and Lucas, live on AM 970, The Answer.
Oh, I love the intensity of that. If you're just tuning in, we're joined by filmmaker Robert Boris, whose new sci-fi thriller, Black Sun, Day of the Humanoid, is making waves, and producer Brad Wyman, the force behind Monster and a long list of indie standouts, is interested in turning this wonderful book into a feature film. For more about Robert Boris and his book Black Sun, check out his website, please, author Robert Boris.com, and you'll also find his book on Amazon or wherever books are sold. And of course, we'll have links posted on our website, ShakeItOffLive.com. Now, guys, you were very dodgy. If you had your dream team, who would be in this film in terms of actors or actresses? Bob, Brad punted. It's your turn. Who do you want to see in this film?
Well, I think there are some wonderful people out there today. I'm a big fan of several people. I would, Brad has such, his links into Hollywood go back so deep and they're so strong. And he has wonderful connections. He's an incredible filmmaker. And he's returned to making films. You ought to talk to Brad about his new film, which he just finished. And now he's moving from a film he's just produced again. And now he's moved on to Black Sun, so we haven't really had the discussion, and I have to knock his socks off with the script, or he's going to not let me have the
Come on, Bob, stop dodging. Who do you want to direct?
He's gifted.
Who do I want?
Who do you want to direct the picture? Come on, give me your 1, 2, and 3.
Thank you, Brad. Come on. The people want to know if you had your wish, if a genie popped out of a bottle and said, "Who do you want to be in Black Sun?" The film. Come on.
Well, if Ridley was still interested and still interested in trying to do a movie again, there's nobody like Ridley Scott.
I'm talking about Ridley Scott. Ridley Scott, is maybe one of the great masters of our lifetime in cinema.
But he's a director. I can't
watch Gladiator enough, man. I go back to that movie so often.
The guy's amazing. He's amazing. Okay, so you're going to have an
amazing... Great. Bob, didn't you work with Ridley? What did you do with Ridley? Was it Air Force One or...
I did the first draft of Air Force One, and I did it with Ridley Scott. I had an incredible experience with Ridley. He is the most thought-provoking, the most incredible guy in terms of film. I was allowed.
Remind me if I'm wrong, but that turned into a Harrison Ford picture, didn't it?
Yes,
that's correct. I did the first. I was working on the idea. I had the pitch in Hollywood at that time. And everybody heard about my pitch about the president aboard his plane, and having the story about Air Force One, and somebody got it to Ridley Scott's company, Scott Free at that point, and they invited me in to talk to him. He gave me 5 minutes to tell him the story. Whoa. And so I go it's like sitting down, with Orson Welles. I was like,
you're like talking to Hitchcock. What did he say? Bob?
So I sat down with him and I started to tell the story, and I was, I was racing through the key points as quickly as I could, trying to self-edit as much as possible. And then he said, "Stop." And he put a stop on me, and he said, "Stop."
Right.
And then he talked to his assistant, and he said, "Hold the calls, keep everybody outside." And then he said, "Tell the story the way you want to tell the story." I stood there, and I told the story and talked to him for 45 minutes. We kept talking. We exchanged ideas. He was a remarkable guy, and he made... I was heading out of that office and going into the next meeting with another big star, who Brad knew very well, and Bernie Brillstein, and I was going to talk to him about the movie. He wanted to hear about the movie, so I was going to Bernie Brillstein, and Ridley asked me where was I going now, and I said I have a meeting with Bernie Brillstein, and to tell him about this story, and he said okay, thank you. And I left, and I went to Bernie, and I walked into the door to see Bernie Brillstein, who made all these movies with with Dan Aykroyd, with John Belushi, with all the Saturday Night Live stars. And Bernie and I
managed them all as well. Brillstein Gray, he was a powerhouse in Hollywood. You know,
an absolute powerhouse. And I go in there to see Bernie, and I start to talk, and Bernie's assistant walked into the room and said, "It's Bob's agent on the phone. You have to come out, Bob. He needs to talk to you now. It's urgent." And I said, Bernie, forgive me. And I left the room, and I went to see to get the phone call. And the phone call said, if I take this script and the pitch off the table, I could have. And I left nothing, by the way, at the office with Ridley. I didn't leave anything, not a piece of paper, not a word.
So he bought it from you right there. You didn't even get the pitch to Bernie. He bought it from you right there.
He bought it from me right there. He said, if you walk and give me the deal right now and take it off the table, you're gonna have $250,000 and make the movie with Ridley Scott. And so, boom.
That's exciting, Bob. Bob, did you find any comparisons between Air Force One and this picture, even though it's AI and it's different?
Well, what happened was, the truth of the matter is, what happened was when the Writers Guild strike hit, and I couldn't talk to anybody about, and it was going on a long time. I knew it was going to be a long time, and I couldn't talk to anybody about a screenplay because I'm a Writers Guild Award winner. I'm in a hierarchy of the Writers Guild of America. It's very important to me, and I wouldn't go against their rules. So I couldn't talk to anybody about a screenplay.
You're not a scab, Bob, not you.
But I could talk about a book, and so I said, well, why did I sit down and write a novel? I haven't written a novel in 30 years. And I looked around, and the thing that got me was what I loved about Air Force One is the seizing of a plane of hostile takeover. And I go, what if the hostile takeover wasn't human, but it was its own artificial intelligence? And that's how Black Sun was born. And the first person I really talked about it with, I really didn't take it around too much once the novel was written, is I spoke to Brad, who was always been a kind of mentor and a teacher to me. I spoke to Brad, and Brad said, I love it, I want it, let's do it. And I couldn't think of a better way to get the movie made and to tell the story than with an artist like Brad Wyman.
Hey, guys, Bob, I'd like to turn it around.
Go ahead, finish your thought, Brad. Go.
Yeah. No, Bob is my mentor. He's my Obi-Wan.
Wow, Star Wars.
I want to flip that,
Can I just say, by the way, can I add one thing, Lucas?
Sure.
I just want to mention something, and just the kind of quality Brad is and all of that stuff. I told Brad how wonderful I think you are. Your listeners and your fans are incredible, and you've been absolutely terrific.
I'm delighted to meet you, Louis. Thank you so much.
Brad, it's an honor to have you on the show. You have Mert, my co-host, mesmerized. He hasn't said a word.
Let me just say this point, Lucas. Let me just make this one quick point. That I told him how great you are, and he authorized and permitted me what I wanted to say to your listeners, that if they go to the website of author robertboris.com, which you have the link to, which you're great about, we are giving to your listeners, exclusive for your listeners, a free gift, free copy of the book, and special stuff that's just for you, because you are a remarkable figure and have been a really honest interview, and so I wanted to make sure that people knew that they were very special to us, to both Brad and to me. You should talk to Brad about what he's just done in movies, which I just going back.
You know what, Bob? You know what, Bob? We're going to have you both come back on because, believe it or not, we have run out of time. Brad,
I believe it. This went by like a bullet, man.
Hey, by the way, you guys should take this on the road. You would just, I love the dynamic. It's just beautiful. But unfortunately, we run out of time. It was an absolute pleasure. Thanks for coming on, and we will have you back. Will you come back?
Of course.
There you go. There you go. For more about Robert Boris and his book, Black Sun, check out his website. And if you want some free stuff, check out his website, author Robert shakeitoffliveforest.com. And you also find his book on Amazon or wherever books are sold. And of course, guys, we'll have links posted on our website, Shake It Off Live. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Absolute pleasure. Well, my friend, that concludes show number 66. May I hear an amen? Special, well, the audience sounds muted. Special thanks to the Murdinator, Mert Roberts, my co-host. 66 amazing episodes. That's 132 hours live entertainment. And if you think that's easy, you try it. And to Alex Garrett, Gabby Pisani, thank you. Couldn't do it without you. And to everyone behind the scenes at AM 970, Matthew Samberlin, Joe Sabilla, Frank Volpe, and that's just a few of the great people. Thank you. We really couldn't do it without you. Please look for my movies. Help Make Up, 5,000 Space Aliens and Children of the Vines. They're award-winning films. They're streaming everywhere. Check them out. And if you're listening to us live, next up, my favorite AM 970 show, of course, after Dottie Herman's Eye on Real Estate, Culinary Confidential, starring the one, the only Christina Cates. If you love food, check her out. It's on at 9 p.m. I love her program. Join us next week. We'll have more controversial topics, more special guests in store for you. Same time, same place. Ciao, ciao.
The preceding program is sponsored by Shake It Off Live, LLC.